Video, I'm going to talk about sterilization, which is any process that completely removes or destroys all viable microorganisms, including viruses, from an object or a habitat, and material can be treated and that's considered they're sterile now. This is on non-living surfaces, and common uses are on like surgical equipment and preparation of needles for injection. Um, they use like autoclaves, which is like pressurized steam, chemicals, radiation, ozone, hydrogen peroxide gas, and basically sterile. Like I said, it means it's free from microorganisms and viruses. So, sterilization kills endospores and viruses. It's used in labs, medical facilities, manufacturing, the food industry, and it's really important for uh, the uses, the the places that use these, like, make sure that they're clean, because you can literally kill someone if you contaminate an instrument or like a needle or anything. Um, they use heat, pressure, filtration, or chemicals, and the sterilants are used to kill microbes, viruses, and endospores. So we're gonna watch this video about autoclaves. And I just have some questions after the video.
Would you want a surgeon to use a scalpel that has bacteria growing on it? Of course not. Surgical instruments must be sterilized. That means no living organisms are present. There are lots of products that need to be sterilized: pharmaceuticals, equipment, solutions, medical waste, even tattoo needles. If bacteria, fungi, or viruses are present, the result could be deadly. So how do we sterilize materials in the lab? We use a device called an autoclave. Basically, an autoclave is a powerful pressure cooker that uses heat, steam, and pressure to destroy microorganisms. First, we'll sterilize a solution using the slow exhaust cycle, and second, we'll sterilize some empty bottles using fast exhaust. We need to sterilize this flask containing an agar bacterial media. Cover the top with foil and place a piece of autoclave tape over the foil. Autoclave tape looks like regular masking tape. The difference is that it has a special ink that causes black diagonal lines to appear when exposed to high temperature. Turn on the power and make sure the drain valve is closed. Add deionized water to the level indicator line. Place the flask of culture media into the basket. Insert the basket, close the lid, and turn the handle to create an airtight seal. Use the control panel to set the mode to sterilize, the temperature to 121 degrees Celsius, and the pressure to 15 psi. The slow exhaust mode prevents the liquid from boiling over and out of the flask. Run the autoclave for at least 15 minutes. While it's running, enter the date and time and the operation details in the log and initial. Once the cycle ends and the pressure gauge reads 0 psi, slowly open the door wearing heat-resistant gloves. The black lines are visible on the autoclave tape, indicating that the proper temperature was reached. Once the culture media has cooled to about 45 degrees Celsius, it's ready to be poured into Petri dishes. Now let's run a second autoclave cycle, this time using the fast exhaust to sterilize some empty bottles. Tighten the cap, but then loosen it about halfway. Place the autoclave tape over the lid and put the bottles into the basket. Set the autoclave to 121 degrees Celsius, 15 psi, and a 20-minute runtime. Select the fast exhaust mode. Complete and initial the log. Once the cycle ends and the pressure gauge reads 0 psi, slowly open the door and remove the basket. The black lines are visible on the tape, indicating that the proper temperature was reached. The autoclave is now ready for another run. Remember, slow exhaust is for liquids and medical waste. Fast exhaust is for empty glassware and instruments. Now you're ready to go to the lab and use an autoclave.
Okay, so what does an autoclave do? It kills microorganisms using heat, sterilization, steam, and pressure. What type of places use this method of sterilization? And the video said like pharmaceuticals and hospitals for like needles and equipment, for like tattoo needles and labs. The autoclave is tape is blue with white stripes before the autoclave. And how does the tape change after being autoclaved? You saw in the video the tape becomes blue with black and brown stripes to indicate that it has been autoclaved. What are the uses of the slow exhaust and the fast exhaust autoclaves? Slow exhaust is for liquid and medical waste, and fast exhaust is for empty glassware and instruments. So these are just some examples, like hot air ovens, red heat, and they use dry heat. Like we use in our labs, we use like the Bacto incinerator to sterilize our inoculating loops and everything. There's just some more videos if you want to check out about each of the following. And then like I just wrote some notes on like filtration and UV radiation and like chemicals that you can go over. So just stay tuned for my next video about disinfection.